Meet the toughest gang of teenage girls ever to slash their way across a motion picture screen. Their parents didn't want them. Their teachers were scared of them. Even the cops couldn't tame them. Switchblade Sisters. Are the young rebels fighting for survival in a decaying society? Or are they just teenage hoodlums taking advantage of their youth?
They can't hold us. We're juveniles.
First, you'll meet Lace. She's as affectionate as a scorpion, with all the loving tenderness of a buzzsaw.
Okay, you want me out? You're gonna have to.
You got knocked off, right? Big deal!
If you go, it's gonna turn out bad.
She'd rather kill her man than lose him. Then there's Maggie, Lace's best friend, a shapely young bundle of female dynamite, and Lace's man lit the fuse.
You're a chicken. Say it!
You'll also meet the girl who used her young body to earn the nickname of Bunny.
Have a little something to relax the nerve. And it's only $5.
Come on, Superman.
And then there's the one they just call Patch.
I lost my eye for this gang, remember? We used to be tough.
They also call her the Smiling Cobra.
Shameless. Impudent woman! And from now on, that's gonna be us!
The Switchblade Sisters.
Welcome back to the show, everyone.
Welcome back.
Oh, my goodness. All
Are
of
you
you
ready
Dagger Debs out
Are you ready
there.
for some girl fights?
I'm ready for some girl
in
fights.
Switchblade fights, Pete.
Oh, my goodness. I'm ready for some dirty, disgusting 70s Los Angeles. This movie is changed my life. Listeners, my name's Pete.
And I'm Scott, and
these
are the movies that made us gay.
Yes.
Welcome back to the show, our very own Dagger Deb, Ben Cheaves.
And
welcome back.
I'm a Jezebel, thank you.
Yes.
I prefer Jezebel.
An impudent woman.
Yeah.
You're right. I just found it in the dictionary.
I mean that is a 50-cent word if I ever heard one. Scott, talk about.
We're here today to talk about Switchblade Sisters, directed by Jack Hill, released May 1st, 1975. I feel like we have not really covered a lot of exploitation movies from this time period on the podcast, but here we are tonight.
Yeah.
We're talking about Switchblade Sisters, are also known originally released as the Jezebels.
Yes.
And then they rebranded it later in its theatrical run to Switchblade Sisters. I think I prefer Switchblade Sisters, personally.
Yeah, I would definitely. That definitely makes you want to watch it a little bit more than Jezebels.
Yeah. That's just kind of it's a cool gang name, and in the context when they're explaining it, and she says, what a Jezebel is, I love it. But yeah, Switchblade Sisters, it sounds more like an exploitation movie,
less Betty Davis, maybe than the Jezebels.
Sure,
100. Yeah, it's definitely giving you 70s exploitation, girl gangs.
Yeah,
so yeah, it says it all right there in the title.
Absolutely.
And I love a switchblade. I love a switchblade. I love a switchblade comb.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. The switchblade comb is like your first introduction. Every kid at like the magic, the joke shop. You find the switchblade comb, and you think you invented it.
Yeah. I was obsessed with the kid from Back to the Beach.
Yes.
Who had one.
Sure.
Yeah.
The brother from Back to the Beach.
Yeah. He was a great character.
Yeah.
I too was very much obsessed with with that one.
He could have been a dagger.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they would have taken him in. Or what is the name of the boy gang?
They're the daggers?
The silver daggers. They're the silver daggers.
The silver daggers, yes.
And then the girlfriends are the Dagger Debs.
They were nothing.
No, yes, they were nothing. The silver daggers, come on, get out of here.
A bunch of crippled dicks.
Bunch of crippled dicks. The Debs were running that school. But, I mean, this movie is pretty insane. Scott and I first saw this at the New Beverly
We saw it
Cinema.
at the New Bev. So I did not know this movie existed until I saw on the New Beverly calendar that they were double featuring this with Faster Pussycat Kill Kill.
Yes.
And I'd always wanted an opportunity to see that movie on the big screen, and it was a double feature with it.
Yeah.
And
Fuck. Yeah. That is a dream come true.
Did they show this one second?
They showed it second.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That was a hell of an evening. It was so much fun.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I mean, just the thing about, like I said, this movie is such a time capsule because I'm watching it and I'm like, I think I know where that is, but it's a really disgusting, broken down, like dystopian LA.
So I was going to ask, is this in New York or is it in LA?
It's LA.
Because I mean, like,
well, in the movie,
LA.
Sure. That's a good question.
They shoot on a backlot for the big, for the big.
It almost feels like the gang just went to the backlot.
Yes.
Like it's not even pretending to be New York.
Absolutely.
It's just straight up.
Yes.
The MGM backlot.
And then there are a couple of choice scenes in Lace. Would you call Lace the main character? Lace is not the protagonist. It's Maggie.
I would say Maggie's is the main character.
But Lace is the leader of the Debs.
The lead bad girl.
There's a couple of shots in her bedroom. The first shots where she throws that, like, I don't know, what is it, like a brush or something, at that chihuahua-sized rat in her bedroom.
Yeah.
Now, out her window, it looks to me like they're trying to make it look like a big city, like she lives in the city, kind of like a Good Times kind of a situation.
Sure.
But
it was very Good Times. Yeah. And then there was like a mention of 110th Street.
Yes.
But also palm trees.
Yeah.
And like Googie architecture and stuff like that. Like that, like they don't have hamburger stands like that anymore.
No. We know where that location is.
The hamburger stand.
It is now an Oinkster.
It's an Oinkster. It was featured on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. So there's an airbrushed Guy Fieri on the wall.
I love just how fucking depressing Highland Park looks in this movie.
Yeah. Highland Park was pretty gnarly up until like the 2000s, and so until that good old gentrification snuck in there. But
right.
But yeah, so okay, that's fair. I do think that maybe they were trying to go for more of an actual urban New York, maybe just East Coast. Could be Detroit, could be Chicago, but clearly this is, the greater Los Angeles area where they shot this. But I was just shocked at how kind of run down. I mean, I have memories of like, the early 80s as a child, but I wasn't really paying attention to like, all this graffiti. This isn't my LA anymore.
Right.
At 7. So.
Yeah, you're just like, ooh, it's exciting.
Yeah.
It looks like MTV.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember going to New York like in like first grade or second grade and just being so excited about seeing like graffiti and breakdancers and everything. I was like, oh my God, I've entered like the world of the television.
Yeah. And the subway cars completely covered in graffiti, like look like the Wiz. And you're just like, whoa. And my mom's like, so sad.
Good
and I'm just like, I love it. Yeah. I'll never forget when I went to New York as a child. I was telling my classmates, and we must have been in like the 4th grade. So we're like, 9. And just one of my classmates, a girl, her name was Suzanne. She was just sitting cross-legged and she goes, you're going to get mugged.
Toughen up, kid.
Yeah.
Them's the breaks.
I was like, I know how to wear my pocketbook cross body so they can't take it off me. I learned that the hard way.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that this is it feels like a time capsule for LA for you, but like for me, it feels like a time capsule of the 90s about when it was re-released.
Okay,
like,
sure. Yeah.
When Quentin Tarantino did the re-release through what is like Rolling Thunder Pictures, like I remember it being in theaters and coming out and just being like super stoked because I was like, in college and getting into cult movies and like seeing this on a big screen was like pretty big for Atlanta, and it just reminds me of like that moment in the 90s where everyone was obsessed with the 70s and just kind of like cult movies and going to my favorite video store and like getting it like recommendations from like the punk rock neighborhood video store. Yeah,
totally. And it just that 70s by way of the 90s kind of feeling that I remember as well. And Quentin just being kind of like Okay, if it's got his stamp of approval,
Well,
then
I mean,
this is going to be great.
I think that Quentin is largely responsible for all three of us discovering this movie. I mean,
absolutely.
I had never heard of this until it was shown at the New Bev, and I know that Tarantino has a big hand. I mean, he owns it, but I think he has just a big hand in everything that's programmed there monthly. So
pretty, yeah. I know like a lot of them are like his personal prints that they show there.
Right.
Yeah.
And I wonder if if he didn't have that kind of hand in it in the 90s, if movies like this and, Coffee would kind of just been lost or, kind
gone
of
into
to obscurity.
Yeah.
Jinx.
Yeah, I remember exploitation had already kind of like had a moment, like a revival. And I remember like kind of finding a lot of those movies. But I mean, like, it's kind of awesome what he was trying to do with the Rolling Thunder pictures. He was putting out like old exploitation films and like getting them out in the theater. I remember getting to see The Beyond because of that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so like, I can't remember the other ones that he did, but like, I mean, like he was basically trying to do a boutique Blu-ray label back in the 90s when he was like, had Miramax backing him for everything.
Right. The original introduction, Quentin's introduction on the DVD, it's on YouTube.
Yeah, they're both on YouTube.
Look it up. It's great.
So grating.
Oh, I love it though.
I can't stand I would show it to everyone. Like, of course, anybody would come over. Like, we're watching Switchblade Sisters, and I put it on, and they would want to see the Quentin Tarantino thing. I was like, he is going to ruin the movie for you. Like the way he does, like the impression of
Lace.
Like, you were lousy. Everything was lousy.
I think his impression of Lace is pretty funny. Pete was trying to do a Lace last night as we were watching the movie because Lace just sort of, if you can hold your jaw. That's sort of how she talks.
She kind of is giving the whole movie like her jaw's wired shut.
Trick you pulled on Patch. You're pretty good. What else can you do? Want to find out? Why so hostile? These are the Silver Daggers, and we are the Dagger Debs. What gang you with? I ain't with the gang. You ain't with the gang? People just stomp on you. You don't have any muscle behind you. Everybody's got to be in a gang. Just ain't healthy to loan it. Thanks. I'll take my chance.
It's weird, but I love her.
It's yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying about Quentin Tarantino. I have always thought that he is a little abrasive. But let me tell you this. In the 90s when he was like the biggest thing, and Pulp Fiction and all of that, I've had several people, my uncle, my best friend from high school, Ray, like several people tell me like, oh, like I was watching this thing and Quentin Tarantino was on it, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I like Pulp Fiction or whatever, and they're like, oh, he reminded me of you, and I was like, what?
I don't see that at all.
Yeah,
that you just.
I never got it, but like different people who had not co-conspired with each other said that on non-consecutive occasions. So I was like, I don't get I don't know if it was just my like weird kind of energy or what, but yeah, to this day it baffled me.
I did not know you in the 90s, but I have never wanted to punch you in the face.
Okay, good.
And that's
good.
often the case when I hear Quentin Tarantino. I mean, like, the best taste ever. Love his movies, love his references and everything. I'm thankful that he wears all of his influences on his sleeve. Well, but I hate hearing him talk about
absolutely. It. Let me also say this. We just did an episode of Postcards from the Edge. And, Shirley MacLaine's character is, it's this analogy for Debbie Reynolds. And there's an SNL sketch from the 90s called Leg Up, where Sherry O'Terry is
Leg Up.
Debbie Reynolds and Molly Shannon is Ann Miller. And I posted a clip of it because I was like, oh, Sherry O'Terry could have been, Doris Mann or whatever. Just a funny little thing on Instagram. But in that clip, Quentin was hosting SNL in that episode. And so he goes on Leg Up as himself. And they kind of roast him about like, you're just a movie nerd, like worked at a video store and all that kind of stuff. But even him playing himself is just like, oh, face palm. You're just like, oh God, stay behind the camera.
Yeah, it was just always a nightmare.
Yeah, absolutely.
And usually whenever he's in a movie, he has to do a voice. Isn't it in Hateful Eight? Isn't he doing an Australian accent?
Oh, God.
And
I think so.
And I think that he does some kooky character work in From Dusk Till Dawn, too.
Oh, man. Well, okay. So he's a pain in the keister, but you know what I mean? He's kind of...
He brought us this movie.
He brought us this movie, and we are recording this call, like, right below a Quentin Tarantino poster. So I am one of those film bros. I have a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood poster right above me right now.
Same. I have all his movies.
It's not a Reservoir Dogs poster. Don't worry. We're not that guy. But, yeah.
I want to start off the conversation on just exploitation movies in general, and then we can kind of move into its director, Jack Hill, because he's a fascinating filmmaker. So, Ben, do you want to just kind of talk a little bit about exploitation movies from this time?
That's kind of what really got me into movies and, like, wanting to, like watch old movies more so even than classic movies. I was like, as soon as I found out about, like, American International Pictures, I was like, oh, this is everything I love, like, from the Frankie and Annette movies, from the, like, you know, like the juvenile delinquent movies. And like in Atlanta, like I was saying, you know, like in the punk rock neighborhood here in Atlanta, there was a video store called Blast Off Video. And there's a guy who ran it named Sam, and, like, he was, like, the coolest guy in the world to me. He was, like, it was, like, mid-90s. He dressed like a beatnik. The entire place was, like, red and black with, like, leopard print.
Oh, my God.
And it had the feeling that, like, if I picked up the right video, that, like, a secret wall was going to open, and they were going to be showing, like, blue movies and, like, doing, like, cheesecake photography and all that kind of stuff. And so... like, and he was just great. Like, I would rent stuff, and I was renting stuff like Faster Pussycat and, like, I don't even know, like blaxploitation movies and things like that. And and I lived kind of like out in the suburbs still, so he would be like, here, take this and take this too. You'll like this one. You'll like this one. Just keep them for a couple of weeks and bring them back. And, like, he was the best. And, like, when I was in film school, those were the movies that really got me excited, and just kind of learning about all the subgenres and learning how, like, genre film works, and, like, how the cycle of a movie, like, you know, it starts off with, like, a hit, like, catching in on a trend, and then they just kind of, like, running into the ground, and then it merges with something. So you'll get, like, you know, like a kung fu movie that's also a vampire movie.
Yeah, just these weird genres of, like, kung fu western, women in prison. I know that Roger Corman really liked women in prison movies, which we get a little bit in Switchblade Sister. Car chase movies, too.
Yeah, I mean, like, and Roger Corman just being, you know, his own film school. And, you know, Jack Hill kind of came out of the same group of the movie brats from LA film schools with, like, Francis Ford Coppola, you know, Brian De Palma, like, all those guys. And so, like, they all got their chance working with Roger Corman at American International.
That's so wild that American International is the same company that kind of gave us the beach movies, and then you know, the Poe movies, the beach movies, the, like, hot rod movies. But, like, I mean, this definitely falls into more of, like, the grindhouse era of the exploitation movies of getting to show, they're going to show more TNA.
Yeah. We're going to exploit sex, violence, and action in this movie.
Yeah, and because since Hollywood movies were able to do that now, I mean, like, you know, you had already had like Midnight Cowboy and all these kind of movies that were, like, already showing you TNA too, so you had to really have a gimmick to get people to stay in the theater and come see your movie, or, you know, or at least you had to sell it on the poster to get them there to see what they think they're going to see.
Yeah, it's so crazy just the way we have an idea in our head of the industry, quote unquote, and, like, Hollywood, how it is today, but it's like you know, it was completely not like, I mean, right now it's just like the big studios, and then there's, like, you know, independent kind of crappy made for Sci-Fi Channel or whatever movies, but like,
and usually the so-called indie studios, like something like A24, they have major backing behind them too.
Yeah. It's I mean, that's A24 movies are not being made with this kind of budget in 15 days.
Yeah.
Like that's an American International budget. So
I also find the release strategy for American International movies and the grindhouse movies to be so fascinating. It's that you're gonna take this on sort of an old road show of how they would do in the 60s and play them from city to city. So you wouldn't really have a traditional wide release in over 600 theaters. You would go from town to town, and that's how you would build buzz.
Yeah. There's actually a great book that I have right here. It's called Faster and Furiouser, and it's like the story of American International Pictures, and it kind of goes through their whole genre. Their whole like different film cycles through the eras, and like we'll talk to like the key players, and they talk a lot about that, about like coming up with a poster idea first, and then like seeing if it will play in like New York, and then moving to Chicago, Detroit, or like starting in LA first, and so like that is super fascinating. Like hearing how like John Waters used to do that, like he would like put the print in his trunk and like get Divine.
That's absolutely. I was gonna say, first off, the first time I ever heard of something like that was in Ed Wood, where they're talking about like, we already got the poster, so this is the title, this is the poster, like, and we sold it in Pomona and like in Tulsa and all this shit, and regions and these salesmen going out to these markets and all that. And then again, I kind of learned about it from John Waters in his commentary tracks, and he goes really
and
into
the head
it.
of New Line at
Bob
the time.
Shea, Bob really did that by hand, kind of, with those movies.
He really learned that from like Herschel Gordon Lewis, which is like his hero.
Absolutely.
Like them doing making those movies like in Florida, and then just like traveling around the South to drive
working the drive-in circuit.
I think the Cecil B. Demented commentary from, 2000, he really goes into like grindhouse movie theaters and how this movie theater would only show kung fu movies, and this would only show blaxploitation and all that. And that to me was so fascinating. Like, what?
There's a great book about that too called Sleazoid Express, and it's a guy who used to run, like he used to put out like his own like newsletter zine, and he worked at a lot of the different grindhouse theaters. And he talks about like there'd be a gay one, there'd be one to like the junkies would go and shoot up at, and like like they played at different ones, and like so
I love that. Like this is all like pre, home video kind of really changed everything, right?
Yeah.
Home video, you didn't have to go to the porno theater to jerk off. You can finally do it in the comfort of your own home. And that kind of a thing where it's like bootlegging and all that just became a lot more easy to do. And it's not like Bachelor Party with like Adrian Zemed pulling out like a reel-to-reel like 8mm like porno movie,
oh my God,
like what the hell? So that's just the 80s and the VCR and the availability of it. And let me tell you this, VCRs, like those motherfuckers like $500 in like 1984.
Oh my God. You had to rent, like I remember like for a long time you had to rent them from like Blockbuster, like rent a VCR for the weekend.
Yeah, like because that shit would be like equivalent of like a $3,000 like machine. Like okay, and we paid for it, man. I mean, I always remember having a VCR. Thankfully,
My parents were, I guess, like early adopters
mine
for
too.
that, and like we were. I remember like going to the mall store that sold like electronics and renting videos from there.
Yeah. And I mean, I've told this story on this podcast, but my dad and my stepdad both invented simultaneously daisy chaining the camcorder to the VCR to then record one from the other. And it's like, boom, editing bay.
The movie that finally like made my dad like figure that out. He was like, okay, we're going to figure this out, because he wanted to have his own copy of Crocodile Dundee.
Oh, there you go.
As he should.
So,
that shot of her taking off like the skirt, and she's got the
and the French cut bikini. Yeah. Oh my God.
So we all remember it.
I want to bring the conversation back to Jack Hill, because Jack Hill was kind of, he came up with Roger Corman, and Jack Hill, from what I've read about him, had this really great commitment to filmmaking that Jack Hill would take these assignments from Roger Corman and just kind of bring them to this next level and kind of make something kind of cool and meaning film about them. And that when you watch a movie like Switchblade Sisters, I think that you're almost laughing at the movie to start with, but at the end of it, you're kind of invested in all of these characters. Like, this movie is building on itself until the very end. And what I think is interesting about a story like this is that any of these directors, you want to make something Shakespearean, you just have to work within the confines of the genre that you're producing. So this is a girl gang movie, but we're going to be treating this like Othello. And I think that's so badass.
Yeah, I again, like, taking it back to like the Roger Corman too, like I think that I heard that he basically had a poster of like Patti Smith. I'm sorry, Patty Hearst. Had a poster of like Patty Hearst, like, you know, like with the SLA, and the name the Jezebels, and he was like, run with it, and so that's what he came up with, and then like through like one of the rewrites, he was like, okay, he kind of turned it into like an Othello story, and which, you know, I mean, like, he did really good stuff with Pam Grier, with like Coffee and Foxy Brown. I mean, like, those are like really, really awesome movies for like a black female lead at the time, and he let her have input, and so like he was very giving, and like that entire kind of like school at AIP was like leftist, and they were trying to make like kind of like mix in some social commentary with the exploitation stuff. You know, like Roger Corman was always trying to like put a little bit of a message in there. Yeah,
I mean, I'm here for Patch. Like, I'm like,
I love the character Patch. He's my favorite.
Patch, best character in the movie.
Yes,
but also give me the donut spinoff.
Oh my God, donut! Like, basically, that was the Donnas. That's what that's what spinoff was.
Absolutely. She is every member of the Donnas.
yeah. She was Lenny Bruce's daughter.
So
interesting.
Yeah, and then Jack Smith, I guess, was like semi-friends or acquaintances with Lenny Bruce, and so he was like, "Oh yeah, we'll put her in there."
Ben, have you seen The Swinging Cheerleaders? That is the exploitation movie that he made right before this. That was a pretty big hit, and
The
Jezebels was the follow-up.
Okay,
I need to track that movie down. And this movie specifically was released from his production company, Jack Hill's production company, Centaur Releasing. Okay. So that's kind of like his production company.
No, I haven't seen that one yet. I'm always like, do I want to? It's like, is it going to be just all TNA?
Right.
Or like, I don't know. I mean, I like a bad girl more than a Than a good, I mean, like a horny cheerleader.
Yeah, there's like some nudity in this, but it's all like, it kind of serves the plot.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's not.
I was reading that they were trying to get a PG rating because like they really wanted the teen crowd to come and see it, but then they didn't realize that if there's any kind of like hard drug use, then it's an automatic R. So they were stuck with an R rating with no TNA, and so people who were coming to see the typical like, you know, exploitation grindhouse movie didn't really get what they wanted from that, and so I think that's one of the reasons they think it wasn't a good hit.
But there's a lot of violence.
There's a lot of violence,
surprising violence. I'm here to tell you, when I saw this for the first time, I was shocked at the people that are like dropping like flies, like main characters.
That shootout at the shootout at Moonlight Roller Rink.
Roller rink.
Mm-hmm. That's a very famous roller rink in LA. You see that show up all the time. Whenever you see a roller rink show up in a movie, chances are, if it is shot out of LA, that is Moonlight Roller Rink in Glendale.
Oh, there's a oh my God, I can't remember the name of it right now. But yeah, there's like a few in Atlanta that are like from like in rap videos all the time.
Oh, nice. But I was not surprised, but I was just like, okay, the nudity is not as explicit as I kind of maybe thought it would be, but the violence was more explicit than I was expecting. I was like, oh
yeah, that the brawl in the prison with the Alice from Brady Bunch on steroids.
Yeah,
there's some tits popping out there, like, you know, like
the prison matron. I can't with that character.
I love. Yeah, I kind of love her. It's I love that staple. She's very her name's Mom.
Mom, yeah.
She's like Alice, and
she's giving a little large Marge, like pre-transformation.
What's that? I can't remember the character from Reform School Girl.
Oh,
but like the main principal warden.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. The Little Women in Prison moment it's a really great scene.
Her stunt double once they start fighting is a man in a horrible wig. It is like Spaceballs level of like stunt.
I'm gonna get you, sucker. We're doing this on purpose.
Yeah,
we're doing this on purpose to call out how crazy it is. It's almost like they have to know, right?
Well, let's talk a little bit about this cast and these actresses. So we have the main bad girl, Lace, played by Robbie Lee. This is probably one of the first and only starring roles that this actress did. I mean, knocks it out of the park.
Was she in Swinging Cheerleaders?
Is she in Swinging Cheerleaders, Scott?
No, maybe not.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so Lace, the head Dagger Deb, does not wear lace anywhere in this movie.
She kind of has a Linda Blair look about her too. I think of Linda Blair a lot. If this movie would have been made about a couple years later, this role would be played by Linda Blair.
Yeah, like when did Linda Blair do like Born Innocent? Wasn't that her?
Gosh, like probably
like
78.
I
think Savage Street was early 80s, like
Savage
81
Streets
or so.
was already 81.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I read that like Jack Hill loved her James Cagney voice, and that was one of the reasons why he liked it.
She's
so I was
absolutely
like,
doing a James Cagney voice.
Okay, just like
she is like cursing dirty rats that killed her brother left and right.
Her delivery is so insane in this movie.
Yeah,
it's insane. It's indescribable. I'm not going to try and do an impression of her because it's just.
I think Wired Jaw is the best description.
She just
like it's like
because she's doing a very like angry, pent up like this girl is just has so many emotions, and so her jaw is just so tight, and it just all comes out like that. But her styling in this movie is fucking crazy.
Yeah,
like.
Yeah, the skin tight pants and the knee high boots and jacket.
And the hat is great. It's like her signature
whatever
piece.
that Princess Leia moment she has at the skating rink.
The disco crystal ball, Princess Leia, Mariah Balenciaga. Like, it is so insane. And I was like, is it a weapon? Because we're gonna get to Maggie. We're gonna get to Maggie in a minute, but using your wardrobe as your weapon is very like girl gang, right? And so I'm thinking, so I'm thinking she's gonna like unwrap these Swarovski crystals in her hair and just start. They almost
look like tinfoil.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was for a second. It was like she like braided it into her hair and then rolled it up.
And then did the Princess Leia buns. It's wild. But so
Lace is the leader of the Dagger Debs.
But let me tell you this about Lace. It starts off after we finish the most amazing song on earth. Murderous Woman, what is it? By Medusa.
Yeah, it sounds like Beyond the Valley of the Dolls.
Really
it sounds like the Carrie Nations.
It really does.
Yeah.
After this amazing song and this really great opening title sequence, which just features disgusting, broken down, dystopian Los Angeles. The very first person we see on screen is Lace. It's her bedroom. Mm-hmm. We get her chihuahua-sized rat, and all of that. And so I'm like, okay, we are following Lace. This is our main character. This is our hero. Oh, no, listeners. Do not be fooled. Lace has a very wild and varied journey on this movie.
Lace has an interesting arc.
So
let's talk about all the other girls in this gang. The other Dagger Debs. We get Patch. Played by Monica Gayle, and she's kind of she's the Iago of this story.
Yes,
and she has this crazy eye patch because she lost her eye in like a
for the gang.
She lost her eye and think that she must have gotten it stabbed out or something.
I think it's in her initiation gig.
She's like, I lost my eye for this gang. We used to be tough.
Yeah.
I love this actress. She's my favorite character of the movie.
So, okay, for me, Patch is giving fake Jan, but she's also giving Eve Plum. Like, I feel like Eve Plum could have taken this and, like, really gone places with this role. But this actress is beautiful. She just has this long hair, this teeny little frame. She's just so stunning, and she's just so pissed.
She kind of came from semi-adult movies, too, which is kind of awesome. She was in a movie called Pinocchio from 1971.
Its alternate title is The Erotic Adventures.
The Erotic Adventures of Pinocchio, rated X. And she was also in Nashville Girl.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard that one. But was this before They Call Her One Eye? The other like exploitation revenge movie?
One Eye. Oh man.
It's it's the one that another one that Quentin Tarantino used for the
Kill Bill.
For Kill Bill.
Oh, I'm just now like putting that together of Daryl Hannah's styling is very Patch in this movie.
Yeah. It's especially even more so for the They Call Her One Eye, which is like a pretty rough like revenge movie.
That movie came out in 1973, so this is after that.
Okay.
Yeah. Alternate title: Thriller: A Cruel Picture. They Call Her One Eye. Yeah, I recognize this.
Is this the same actress, or is it just kind of styled the same way?
No.
He's just asking.
Other Dagger Debs that are worth kind of noting. We haven't talked about Bunny. I like the character of Bunny. Janice Carmen.
Okay, is Bunny the one that's kind of like third in command?
Yeah.
Like she's the one that really at the end of the movie is just like, fuck this. You guys are lying.
Yeah.
She's that one, right?
She's the one who gets like prostituted out in the bathroom.
Do you know what is?
She's Bunny.
Do you know what is fascinating about Janice Carmen? She went on to be a story writer and a creator of Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Are you kidding?
The classic 80s Alvin and the Chipmunks. And because of that, she has producing credits pretty much on any Alvin and the Chipmunks property since. Which is
God! I bet she's responsible.
Awesome.
She has to be responsible for the Chipettes.
I think that she had a hand in the Chipettes. I could see the Chipettes in a certain version of the story being Switchblade Sisters or Dagger Debs.
Yeah, I was going to say there's got to be like they probably did some kind of West Side Story.
Jeanette's donut. Come on, there's analogies for all of them.
yeah.
Eleanor is clearly Patch, and Brittany's Lace. Come on.
And then we talk a little bit about Donut, played by Kitty Bruce. Yeah, kind of.
She's my favorite.
She's great.
Fascinating character of this movie.
First of all, if I was her, I would have taken my chances on the street.
I mean, come on.
Because if you're not letting me eat a double cheeseburger, then I'm
seriously.
out. Like
all she wanted was some coleslaw.
And there is just something about this character that she frustrates you and breaks your heart at the same time because you want her to stand up for herself when Lace is being such a fucking asshole to her.
Yeah, she's like. She's got to have gang protection.
Well, I was going to say, Lace at one point says something about, like, you got to be in a gang. Like, I think it's in that scene. She's just like, you have to.
Yeah, they'll tear you up if you don't have any muscle behind you.
And is this kind of giving, like, this Warriors kind of world in that, like, because the principal is, like, bowing down to the silver daggers.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just supposed to be that. I mean, I think it's just that 70s.
Adults are helpless to these asshole teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, these teenagers are all in their 40s, but
yeah, I think like Lace is the only one that's like close to teenage. But yeah, everyone else is like pushing 30.
Especially in the rival gang.
Yeah.
Like those motherfuckers are like
they look like they have like two kids in a mortgage. It's like it is.
Yeah, especially the leader.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out if the leader of the rival gang was hot or did he just have a crazy haircut?
No, he's not hot.
He had like a Josh Hartnett mullet.
I think he's kind of cute. I don't know.
He
that's on you.
That's on you. Very like interesting little tidbit. The leader of the opposition. What is this character's name? God damn, what's his name? It starts with a C.
Krabs.
Okay. Krabs has this very specific hairstyle. Bangs.
Yeah.
Bangs and a mullet.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is 1974. in the Simpsons episodes where Homer and Marge are in high school, Barney has this haircut. Exactly.
God.
Like they're caricaturing Krabs with Barney.
That's so funny.
And I will do a side by side, listeners. You're welcome in advance.
One of the guys, the like kind of second in command of the Silver Daggers.
Oh, okay, and Silver Daggers, sure.
The guy from was in the
That
70s
show, yeah. He's Donna's dad, yeah.
And he was kind of
He can
hot.
get it, right?
Okay.
We were like,
He's
yaddy,
sexy,
yaddy,
yeah.
yaddy on Bob.
He's just like a big meathead.
I mean, you can tell Bob on that 70s show, if you get his shirt off, he has like a jacked body.
I never knew.
Yeah.
I always would watch that 70s show and just kind of thought that Bob was like a kind of a schlubby guy. But like, no, there's a scene of them in a hot tub, and I was like,
I mean, he can pull
Yeah.
Tanya Roberts.
He pulled Tanya Roberts.
Yep.
There you go. Even with the perm. But the second in command of Krabs is a full on homosexual.
Oh yeah, so that's what, okay. I wrote down like, is he gay?
He dresses like Liberace. Like these outfits are crazy, and it's like, okay, maybe Krabs' crew is a little bit more flamboyant. They've got like hats and accessories, and
one looks like Harvey Keitel in Mean Streets or Taxi
absolutely.
Driver.
yeah. There's like the Latin guy with like long hair and a mustache, and like all this stuff going on. Krabs has his like, I mean, granted, his jewelry is like Nazi.
Yeah,
he's wearing like a swastika necklace.
He's wearing an iron cross with a swastika in the middle.
just as you did in the 70s.
But that's the thing about these gangs. And like motorcycle gangs and all that. They're like, yeah, you're a crosstown rival. We're gonna fuck you up and murder you. But I mean, we can agree on is that we hate the blacks and the Jews. Like they're all like white supremacists on top of being like in fights with each other. Wild. Crazy. And it's just a thing. It's just, this is his medallion and I'm going to steal it. Okay.
And they're working through like politics because they're volunteering with like...
Krabs is like angling to be like the mayor of whatever like city this is.
Yeah. That felt very Roger Corman.
So that's where they're getting
Roger Corman, but it's also a little like Gotham City. I don't know.
So that's where they're getting like that's where they're getting their political commentary in this movie.
Yeah.
They do. The head of the Silver Daggers does make note of Krabs being old. He's like, how many fucking times are you going to like be a senior in this school? Like, you need to graduate already.
Yeah. What goes around comes around.
I mean, he was no spring chicken himself.
Yeah, I think I looked him up and he was like 29.
Okay. So, yeah. I mean, that's not that. I mean, hey. We all lived through 90210. Yeah, we know from 29-year-olds playing high school. Yeah.
So we meet the character of Maggie, played by Joanne Nail, at the Burger Shack. This scene is incredible.
An absolute queen. Yeah.
Maggie, I mean, I love Patch, and I will defend Patch, but Maggie is like next level.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as she whips off that belt that is a cat of nine.
Yes,
I don't know what the fuck it is.
Bolo, like
immediately whips her jean jacket around her like wrist as a shield. I'm just like,
okay.
I'll follow you anywhere.
So I had questions about the jean jackets wrapped around their left hook, and is that what it is? It's like we got a knife in one hand, so
so you're
covered in denim.
Yeah.
All those layers of denim is it's gonna be harder to.
I think that I think Jack Hill did consult real girl gangs about just kind of elements like that in this movie. Sure. So maybe that was just a detail that they got from gangs.
Because they did it in the final fight at the very end. They both did it, but one of them had a leather.
I love that shot of the silhouette of Lace getting cut in the throat.
That shot is incredible.
It reminded me of Golden Child when they have like the snake woman behind this
very Dragon Lady Golden Child. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But no, I mean, and Maggie's introductory look, like, okay, she always has this belt that doubles as a cat of nine tails, and it's like dangles and it's metallic. But her intro look is like denim hot pants with like above the knee, like black suede boots and like this jacket and like, oh my God. And she doesn't look like at first glance, she's not giving bad girl.
Yeah.
You know, she's
kind of unassuming.
Yeah. You know,
she just kind of looks like a girl from the mall.
She's eating her fries. Her hair's like kind of blown out and blonde and just like big waves.
Yeah, she's not wearing a hat or an eye patch, so she's
well, because the bad girls in this movie, like they either have like the stick straight parted down the middle, like 70s hair. There's one girl who's blonde and has an afro. That doesn't speak.
Like she just kind of pops in the background. Yeah, she was pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love her. Like her look later is kind of frumpy.
Sure.
She's like kind of going through her women's study era when she goes and talks to the Black Panthers. She's wearing like brown like corduroy pants and a flower shirt and a like jean jacket blazer looking thing. It's just like I'm not feeling that.
I think for that she kind of wants to like fit in with them, and those girls are like they don't use their femininity. They're these like Black Panther lady.
It's more militant.
Gang is more militant. So yeah, she's dressing down for. I don't know, because she does that when she goes to see. What's his name? And get the patch. She's wearing like a little skirt or dress.
She's giving you Andrew Sisters.
Yeah. So I think Maggie and I don't know if this has any bearing on why they chose these looks. Maybe we're reading way too much into it. But to me, I think it's giving me that Maggie kind of is able to adapt to her surroundings and fit in where she needs to fit in. And she does it with her wardrobe. She does it with her demeanor and all that. And that's what makes her successful.
And Maggie immediately gets the respect from all of the Dagger Debs, too, which I think kind of impresses Lace. I mean, Lace and Maggie have a very interesting relationship of that you never quite know where these two characters are going to go by the end of the movie, too.
Lace seems hot to trot for her at the beginning. Like, as soon as she, like, pulls off that belt thing, she's like, fuck, I'm in. You know? And Patch is kind of jealous.
Yep.
Absolutely. So she gets into this little fight with Patch in the Burger Shack, and I'm like, wait, what did she throw at her? Because Patch is like, my other eye, and it's like,
I was trying to figure that out too. Man.
Was it just water?
Soda? Yeah, was it soda or like part of the whip?
Ice?
I couldn't tell.
It was probably meant to be her belt whip. Cat
she's
of nine tails.
Patch is the best when she's angry. Like she's like spitting venom. Like when the cops come up to her and she's like, hands off the fruit, faggot.
Hands off the fruit. Oh my God.
We were cackling at that line.
I say that line all the time. If anyone's getting handsy, I'm like, hands off the fruit, faggot.
Oh my God. I love it. This shit is so wild because like immediately at the very beginning when Lace is leaving her apartment, the repo guy, is there, and like he's like repoing the TV, and he needs his $45, and like he's all disgusting. And this showdown in the elevator, as every floor the door opens, more girls come in, and they all each group of girls looks cooler and tougher and more badass than the last group, and I'm just like, I'm fucking in. I'm here. I'm loving this shit. And Lace's attitude towards the general public is so amazing.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
She's just like, fuck everybody.
They run that
we're
fucking
the Debs.
town.
Get the fuck out of my burger joint. Get out of my elevator.
She's ripping off landlords, paying for burgers at the one place they go to.
And just like walking around with this fatty roll in her. It's so amazing. When he comes back, the guy that they assault, the repo guy, when he gets to the Burger Shack with the cops and his clothes are all shattered, tattered.
I know. It's like, so they just cut up his clothes. I was like, oh, he's alive? Because it looked like he was dead.
But I mean, I guess she stole the wad of cash from him. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
So ultimately, to prove Maggie's alliance to the Dagger Debs, she has to go get this necklace from
what's his name?
Krabs. From Krabs.
Yeah.
And that kind of lets off all of the events of the movie, of kind of where it goes.
I love it. I love
when they bust through that wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she just takes a chair and like knocks down the set.
Her plan is, I'm in an office with one door in and one door out, and it is filled with male teenage gang members. So I'm going to pick up an office chair and fucking just bust through this wall.
Yeah, she's like, she's done it before, you can tell.
Clearly. She was able to...
She's like, this is not my first...
She was able to assess the wall and think to her in her head, this is drywall coming down.
Yeah, I'll bite his dick, and that'll buy me time to knock the wall down.
Oh my God.
Get the medallion and run. I mean, what a plan.
Badass. Badass. Okay, so there's definitely some sketchy shit going on, and there is a wild scene with the leader of the Silver Daggers.
Is it Dom?
Dom.
Who's also, he's with Lace.
Dom is Lace's man because they're both the leaders of their groups. And so, I mean, I guess his whole thing is just like, she's the new girl, so I get to like fuck her, I guess. But like
how this scene is shot is,
it's
rough.
rough.
I think that even Jack Hill has said that he's got a lot of flack for this scene. Of that, maybe if Jack Hill were to redo this scene, maybe he wouldn't have made the artistic choices.
It's pretty bad. I mean, like, she never stands up for herself and is like, no, I didn't like it.
Right.
You know, she just kind of takes it. It's like, yeah, well, I guess that's what happens. I mean, I guess this is not her first time in a gang, so she knows the deal.
Yeah.
But it's one of the most disturbing parts about it is that in the trailer,
they put it in the trailer.
There's not a lot of sex and nudity. They like sell the rape as like a sex scene.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be hot.
Yeah.
Hotsy totsy. And I'm like, oh, she was actually getting raped.
Yeah. And so, so I read that Jack Hill compared the scene, and then later on we saw him actually speak about this. He compared this to, I guess, a scene in The Fountainhead, which I have not read. I am not the biggest Ayn Rand fan. Yeah, but he says that in The Fountainhead there is a character who's raped and essentially, quote unquote, not my words, shrugs it off. Right. And so he's like, so he felt like he was kind of making this analogy to this character and to this scene in The Fountainhead. And it's like, okay, I guess. But
I mean, I think it's just kind of wrapped up in like the era of the exploitation
I was gonna say,
movies.
This is
it's just sort of like, I don't think there's a lot of thought about it. It's just sort of like, they're like, hey, we're presenting a harsh reality. And this is what happens. Girls get raped in gangs, and there's not a lot of thought
something
about
that you would have seen in a lot of exploitation movies at this time.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, surprisingly, no animals were killed in this movie, which is the other thing that you always have to deal with. So it's like, if it's a 70s horror movie, you're like, okay, great, they're going to kill an animal, and I'm going to have to process that
an animal on screen.
There's going to be
to watch it.
A horrible rape that's going to make me feel like bad, but I mean, that's kind of what you sign up for when you sit down to watch a 70s exploitation.
But you know what I was into signing up for when watching this movie was a showdown at a roller rink that has one of the main characters taking a chain and like whacking people at the shins as she's roller skating by them. That scene was wild.
No one's safe either. They're not even pretending.
Yeah, you see like poor innocent people die in the scene.
They're like jumping up on tables with skates.
Yeah. They're pulling out shotguns in the roller rink. Yeah. And later on, when the cops do catch up with the Debs, they're like, oh, we heard some people got roughed up at the roller rink.
Roughed up.
Like,
they're like,
what?
You're like, we don't like that kind of thing going on here.
You're like, wait, I think you're downplaying it. You're burying the lead a little bit, cops.
Ben, when you come down
the massacre.
When you come down for the TCM Fest, maybe we'll take you to this roller rink.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I've done this.
Oh my
I've
God.
done this loop before.
They have the queer night is like Wednesdays or something. It's really fun.
Oh my God, I would die. Yeah. All right, I'll bring my skates.
Yeah, you have to. I get real chicken shit at the roller rink. I'm very much like, I'm 45.
You know, when I
do not need to fall right
for
now.
a friend's birthday last year or so, I was surprised how quick it came back to me of putting on a pair of roller skates.
Sure.
And I was like good to go. Because we used to do roller skating a lot when I was a kid on like a Friday night.
Yeah.
It was at the Civic Center in Lewistown. And it came right back to me. I could still do it.
Yeah, if you put on some Xanadu, it'll just it's like auto memory.
I think that my favorite song to roller skate to would probably be Styx, Sailing Away.
Come Sail Away?
Yeah.
It's a very long song, so you're good to go. I think I need a good like 30 to 45 minutes of struggling. It's kind of like bowling.
Right.
Like I start off real bad, and then I get good, and then I get real bad again.
You just stick to the wall.
Yeah.
By the end, you're crossing your legs over.
Yeah, and I'm going backwards.
You can't overthink it too.
Doing the limbo, doing the splits under the limbo.
And shooting the duck.
Yeah, those little girls who could do the splits under the limbo bar, get out of here. That is elementary school only.
I always associate like when I was in elementary school and going to like for our like school skate parties, whatever. I always associate like Joan Jett, like like I love rock and roll and like stuff like that, and like seeing like those hood girls with like parted bangs in the middle and combs in their back pockets.
We sold world's finest chocolate bars in my elementary school, and this is how long ago it was. 2 boxes got you the roller skating party at the Fiesta roller rink, and 3 and
where was the Fiesta roller rink?
It's in San Gabriel. It's on San Gabriel and Las Tunas.
Okay,
it's a furniture store now. They didn't do anything. They literally have furniture on the roller rink.
Awesome.
Yeah. But 3 boxes, 1 more box of chocolate got us into Disneyland.
Yeah, so it's like roller rink Disneyland.
Wow. Oh my God.
That was back when a Disneyland ticket was like $24 for like a child. Yeah, so
oh my God.
Yeah. And my mom, because I had a young mom, so she was like, I'll chaperone. And so she got a free Disneyland ticket and just got to like come with the kids and like hang out
all
with
the
us.
chocolate you want, and
it was awesome. But yeah, the Fiesta roller rink, that was good times. But like I feel like when I went, I don't know if it was just because of the neighborhood that we're in or whatever, but like I don't know. I'm remembering like Color Me Bad and like I think they were playing like top 40 stuff. They weren't playing anything cool.
I never went like after elementary school, so like by the 90s, I like.
Are there any big roller rinks in Atlanta left?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, there's like one called like Sparkles, and like oh my God, I can't believe I'm
Sparkles.
forgetting like the main one that like Lil Bow Wow like did his like videos like bounce roll skate in that movie.
And this is the same roller rink from Roller Boogie.
Oh,
all the shots of Roller Boogie from outside of when all the big shots. I mean, it's moonlight. Like I said, if you need a roller rink in any movie or TV, chances are it's this place in Glendale.
Work.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. Okay.
This scene is wild of seeing all of these. I mean, we're going from chains to just it escalates to guns really quick.
Automatic raffles.
Yeah,
I mean, like, like the things kids are using these days.
And do you think that just the attitude with filming this scene with Jack Hill of, well, this is so crazy. Like, this is not happening in real life.
Right.
So let's just have fun with it. And I mean, decades later, it's just like...
We're just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. Okay, so earlier in the movie, Lace tells... what's his name? Dom. I keep wanting to call him Nicky. Mm-hmm. She calls him Nicky, and he's like, don't call me that.
Yeah, Nicky, that's his pet name.
She tells Dom that she's knocked up. She's PG.
When she got out of prison, that's when she figured out that she's knocked up.
Yeah, I don't know if I always kind of thought, like, is she lying? Is she testing him because of the whole Maggie situation? But then,
it's funny. I always thought that she was lying too, but this time I was like, oh, maybe she really, because when she was in the hospital, she maybe did seem sad.
Yeah.
So maybe she was just lying about Dom's excitement for it.
Right. And then when what's his name? When Krabs kind of smacks her right in the gut with his chain.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of to telegraph to us, like, okay, she really was, and she lost it in this crazy shootout / chain fight
that she was
ultimately responsible for. So okay, there is a scene before this where there is a drive-by shooting with Dom's younger brother who looks older, if not the same age as him.
Oh, the one outside one outside of the school.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they like shoot him and then kidnap the girl.
I was trying to see if that was John Marshall Hyatt.
So it looked like it, but it's not. So, but my point is, they shoot the brother in a drive-by shooting, and they like kidnap and gang rape his like girlfriend, who's also a Deb.
Yeah,
but they kind of mention that the brother's alive. Like Dom comes back and he's all sad and he's like, he lost a lot of blood, but like he's doing okay. And he doesn't say he died, so he lives. So I'm like, okay, the brother lives. So I'm thinking, all right, people aren't going to straight up just die. They didn't kill the brother. And I would think in a movie like this where the other gang is like, we're going to send a message, they're going to kill the younger brother. And when they don't, I'm like, okay, maybe they're not going to straight up murder each other. No. Dominic takes a full shotgun blast to the chest. Mm-hmm. And bleeds out. And they're like, leave him. The cops are on their way.
His chest is shredded.
Yeah. Insane. This scene really just like shattered whatever expectations. I mean, if like the Frank rape scene didn't shatter my expectations, this really kind of put me into like, okay, nothing is off limits here.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's like one of the fun, or not necessarily fun, but it was just kind of like one of the like interesting things about seeing that movie like in the 90s. Like they just weren't making movies like that. It wasn't until you discovered these kind of like, you'd have to go to like a video store downtown to to see these. Like they weren't on cable.
Yeah.
Like these are the things that got skipped from cable. So like I never got to see stuff like this like growing up. So you're just like, fuck, the 70s were wild.
And this isn't going to be a Blockbuster video.
Oh yeah, especially something that would be skipped in a home video release. Yeah, just something that would not be in a traditional home video release. Like you would have had to have seen this in the theater.
Yeah.
Or had like a reel of it like Adrian Zemed and just be like, we're gonna, you know what I mean? Like I got this movie, we're gonna watch it in the basement, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been like a dubbed copy handed to you by somebody. Like it's like as a movie you would have had to work for, or like know somebody to know that this is a movie you see. Maybe you had like like a cult movie book, and you'd have to do your research basically.
Do we want to talk a little bit about Muff and her gang of African American militants from across the town? I love these characters.
Yeah, these are like the like Born in Flames like militants. Black females.
These broads.
Well, and I think that they come at a time in the movie that when I'm watching this movie now, and I'm just thinking, there's a lot of white people in this movie. Like, there's a lot of white gang members like in this movie. Like, I want to see some like perspective of what else is going on.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're kind of a breath of fresh air.
Krabs has a Latin guy in his crew. Sure. He's got a big bushy mustache.
He reads Hispanic from.
He's a little Frito Bendito.
It's Muff and her girls are in an abandoned police precinct.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
which is kind of cool.
I'm into it. Yeah, it's very like but, Warriors, Assault on Precinct 13. Or this is before Warriors.
Yeah. But I love the like graffiti on the outside that like precinct shut down, and they'll be like on account of we drove the pigs out. On account.
I just recently watched
on account.
I just recently watched Assault on Precinct 13. It was good.
Yeah.
Solid 90-minute movie.
when they kill the little girl, the ice cream cone.
Oh my god! Oh my god! But yeah, I mean, even like the graffiti is like kind of old timey. Because there was another shot of something else that said it was closed down because of like, I don't know, they were driven out of town or something like that. I'm just like, fuck, man, this neighborhood, whatever city this is in, like, count me out.
This actress is really fun, Marlene Clark. I mean, she's had like such a career. I mean, look at some of these movies. I mean, she was in Black Mamba, The Switchblade Sisters. She did some. Looks like she did some Hammer horror movies. The Beast Must Die, Beware the Blob.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
And I think that she was also on Sanford and Son.
Oh, look at that! She was on Highway to Heaven. So the idea is that Maggie's new in town, and this is her old neighborhood, and these are her old friends.
Yeah, I think
right?
so. Yeah. Yeah, she'd had previous dealings with them before.
Sure.
So yeah, and they knew that Maggie was good stock.
Yeah, I was gonna say that kind of. I mean, not for nothing, but that kind of shows how kind of like tough Maggie.
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
If she's still on good terms with, and I mean this gang of these girls, it's like they're the real deal.
They're ready. I mean, like, I love, there's like a scene where they're practicing shooting the machine guns, and there's just a woman sitting there with a clipboard at a desk taking notes. I'm like, what's her clerical job here? Like, this is a very well organized game. It's just like, okay, you get an 88 on this, and I think they're ready to move on to the next one.
Yeah, you can't move forward until you get at least an 80 or better. They have a tank.
Yeah.
They have a homemade tank. It's like an old Buick. It's like a Cutlass Supreme that they just like modified.
I mean, but it is pretty awesome that they go to another girl game for help. You know, like they're not okay. We got to go get like another set of boyfriends to help us. And like, you know, I mean, this is not the credit to any. There's no female writers on this.
Okay,
you know? Like, kudos to
That's
them
true.
For doing that.
I mean, when Lace is in the hospital, that Maggie fully just like expels all the daggers.
Oh yeah,
all the
when
male
like,
daggers.
Yeah, that's when she calls him a crippled dick. She says she was like, everyone knows your hook. No, your crank couldn't hook a tuna.
As I'm just like thinking about that, and when you see that actor's performance, like he is like emasculated.
Yeah, he is.
yeah.
When she says that,
it's Don Stark, right? It's Bob from That 70s Show.
Yeah. I don't know what you do with a crank to hook a tuna.
Yeah,
but
I don't.
He can't do it.
He's nowhere near completing it. Oh man, yeah, that shit is wild. And that's that one character that's saying it that I love. Is it Bambi?
Oh,
or Bunny?
Bunny.
Yeah,
it's Bunny.
Says it.
Yeah, and then that's when they kick the silver daggers out, and then Maggie remembers what she just saw in the dictionary. A definition of Jezebel.
Jezebel, an impudent woman.
They changed their names to the Jezebels.
Oh my god, I love it.
Yeah, an impudent, shameless, morally unrestrained
there
woman.
You go.
So ultimately, this movie is leading up to the big showdown at the Universal backlot, which I love.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that there is just no realism to the set of we have a couple hours to shoot at Universal or Warner, so we're just going to do it because we can't be filming this like downtown LA in the middle of the day.
Oh no.
Yeah. I kind of like that they were like, you know where we'll meet? We'll settle this on the MGM lot. No one's there these days.
No, it's a ghost town. Yeah, they've got the food truck for. Okay.
Yeah.
But it seems like Krabs' gang is kind of doing good stuff for the youth in the town.
But are they recruiting them to be in the gang through
of white supremacists?
Through white supremacists?
I think they're just like, it seems like it's all just a show for like doing the, I mean, like,
Whatever his end game is
for the mayor,
yeah,
that's
for the
coming.
mayor, whatever his end game. I love at one point like something happens and he's like, I gotta meet the mayor. Like what?
Yeah.
What teenager?
Because he has the shit beat out of him. I got to meet the mayor in like 45 minutes.
Yeah. Oh my god.
He's like, yeah, let's grab me the guns. Let's kill these guys. I got to meet with the mayor.
When they first do show up and they go to like the food truck and the flaming homosexual second in command to Krabs is just like, you girls need to leave, and like they're like messing with the food. And she's like, ooh, and
that porridge.
What the hell?
I don't know what that is when she throws it in his face.
It is gruel. It's gruel that they're serving to these kids.
Yeah, it looks like this thing called chip beef that my parents used to make, and I never ate it. And I was just like, I'll go to bed hungry this time. Sorry.
Chip beef was what the grandma made in Pecker. She had a chip beef stand outside of the house.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my god.
Full of grace.
Full of grace. Yeah, that was wild. We're just like, what is this? And then she pours it on him, and he's like, look what they did to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that polyester blouse is ruined.
But it has like a ribbing around the bottom that's like really high.
I couldn't tell if you like tied it up and had an undershirt. Yeah, I just scribbled down gay.
Yeah, good.
And I was like, I meant to bring that up with you guys. So I'm glad that you thought that as well.
Yeah, same. Thank you for picking up on that too.
Funny.
The final showdown though, this battle, it's a lot.
Well, because Maggie doesn't want Krabs killed. She wants him alive.
Well, she needs him to talk.
She needs him to talk.
She needs to get that info.
But I mean,
who tipped him off.
just like...
I don't know if that's part of Othello or not.
Right, at that point, I'm just like, it's getting muddy. I don't know.
Yeah, but Lace just like blows him down with bullets.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually Patch.
It was Patch.
Patch takes him out because she knows, too. So she's just like, it was an accident. Ooh. Oh, I love it. The entire scene is crazy. Like I said, they have a full tank that they drive into town, just murdering everyone left and right. It doesn't seem like a lot of Jezebels or anybody from Muff's gang get taken out at all.
No, when they're having their victory party over their beers, I love their victory party with all of these Miller High Light cans.
Yeah.
The pop-top cans.
And like the pool table with Tiffany lamps.
Yeah. I love that.
And that warehouse.
Yes. Their lair is cool. This warehouse is that's the Jezebels like,
which the police have been staking out. So regardless of what happens at the end of this movie, all of these girls are going to jail.
Right.
Yeah. Which okay. I don't know about their final plan.
Yeah.
To all say that they're Jezebels, and I mean I get why they don't let Patch be a Jezebel because she's a traitor.
Right.
But does that mean that Patch just gets to not go to jail?
Yeah, does she get off?
And
they're like, okay, you go free.
Yeah, okay, then you're not arrested, but all of y'all are.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah.
I mean, even with the last big battle on the Warner Brothers backlot, I don't really know what the Jezebel's end game really is.
Right.
At the end of the day.
Scratching and surviving.
Yeah.
It's just,
Scratching and surviving. It's, but it's also,
there's not
retaliation, I guess. It's just, that's the whole point. It's just, we're getting them because they got us. And I think that's gang warfare. Yeah, that's, I mean, there's life in a gang is tough.
This last battle between Lace and Maggie is pretty great. It's also one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Yeah,
they both wrap their wrists and denim jackets.
They immediately wrap
their own level ground.
I mean, very well directed. I mean, this is why Jack Hill is such a great filmmaker, is that he's choosing to photograph this scene like that, which is pretty cool. Like this has been like thought about. Like they're just not doing this and they're going to be, this isn't just like a one take shot. Like there was a lot of thought and care put in to the main climax of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're not just like, I mean, they're like, most of the American National like films are not the like set the people in a room, set up the camera, point it, like the Herschel Gordon Lewis setup, where it's just like one long take, you know. And so like, there's always some creative filmmaking, because I think that there were that group of directors coming out of film schools, like wanting to get their shot and using this basically as, you know, like the extension of their like
education.
School projects.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So when they are holding down Maggie and Lace grabs a cigarette, and I'm like, okay, we're just gonna put a cigarette out on her. Maggie's gotten worse. She's fine. She can deal with it.
I mean, she got
That bitch puts a cigarette out.
She got right up after
in her belly button.
Yep.
I felt that.
Yeah, it looks like she was going to do that trick where she makes it smoke. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, but no, I was like, oh, she could take it. Big deal. Do something. Cut up her face. But
Vicious.
But no, it was she did it right in the belly button. I was like, ooh, I don't know why that hurts more.
Yeah.
But then she's like, oh, you look really good with a scar on your face. But then they both do get in a good cut on each other's face in the fight. So I'm like,
yeah.
Either way,
she's a mess. By the time she comes out on top, she's a mess.
She's a mess when
it
this
is
actress
like Texas Chainsaw Massacre jumped out the window.
This actress, when she's being hauled off in the paddy wagon, can we say paddy wagon anymore? No. Is that kind of an insensitive term?
We're gonna
now?
have to bleep that.
But when she's being hauled off, like her last big scene is so good. Of that, we're eventually gonna get out.
Oh my god!
You won't keep us off the streets.
Jezebels.
Let me give you some advice.
No. Let me give you some advice, cop. You can beat us, chain us, lock us up. But we're gonna be back. Understand? And when we do, cop, you better keep your ass off our turf, or we'll blow it up. You dig? Jezebels, cop. Remember that name.
We're the Jezebels, fatso.
Oh my god! Yeah, they're just keeping their head above water.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like, you won't see the last of us. We'll be back, because I guess she knows the system now. She's like,
Sure. Yeah. Well, what did
I'm a 28-year-old teenager. I'll be back on these streets.
I was gonna say that was Lace's whole thing. They can't hold us.
Yeah.
We're juvenile. Oh man. But
Yeah, so I mean, I guess like their victory is finally saying to the cops that they're in a gang. Like they're standing up for themselves.
But I think pretty obvious first degree murder is like a little bit more of a charge than just like cutting up a repo man's tie.
Oh yeah, you're probably going to be sent away for all of this.
Yeah. This is charged as tried as an adult. Kind of stuff.
If this movie was a hit, we could have had a Jezebels in prison.
I was going to say, yeah. We'll meet again in Jezebels 2. What's the subtitle for Jezebels
I would imagine
2?
this movie has probably a pretty big lesbian following.
So I saw like on one of the special features that someone in the 90s was selling like bootleg like copies of it and selling it as like a lesbian like cult movie.
Okay.
Girl gang cult movie, I mean.
Okay.
Yeah. They showed like a cover art of it, and it looked like someone drew it with magic markers, and it looked pretty amazing. I wanted a T-shirt of it.
I was going to say I want that.
Yeah, it looked very like zine flyer.
Sure.
Pretty rad.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like a girl gang
that seems to be inherently gay.
Well, yeah.
A girl gang.
Oh, yeah.
Pete, do you remember when we lived in Pasadena on Bonnie Street?
Uh-huh.
There was a house that was like...
Oh, it was for the bad
house
girls.
For bad girls.
Yeah.
And Pete and I were obsessed with it.
Yeah.
That all of these teenage bad girls had to go live at this house.
Yeah. It was like a reform house or like a halfway house for like underage girls. Yeah.
Were they out like on the porch, like doing their nails, like filing their nails?
I remember being catcalled by one of them when I was walking down the street once.
Oh my god! So we used to live in one of my apartments was like a halfway house for like when guys got out of prison, they'd have to go stay there and like work and report back there. And our like windows faced into each other, and the only thing they ever did was like work out in the yard, and then like they had like a fenced-in backyard area, and they were all just like lifting weights out there, and then we could see them giving each other haircuts.
Oh,
they were always like touching up their like fades and stuff. I was just like we would just watch TV and then like turn around and look and was like, look, they're giving haircuts. So I loved it.
That's amazing.
And then on the other side of that building was our Atlanta Eagle, like the leather bar. So it was like that was a prime location.
Wow, yeah, absolutely. 20s. Jeez Louise, what a neighborhood. Yeah,
like
the reform school girls on our
I like
block.
to think that there was like a Switchblade Sister gang in this house.
I mean, does like the DA or whoever do that kind of homework, saying like, well, we can't put her in this house because like there's girls from like her gang or whatever there. I don't know.
I don't know
Because it could get pretty like I don't know. But they were wild though. They would sit in the porch and just be loud and just like talk shit.
Ooh, like I want to
Yeah, I miss those days. But I feel like a girl gang movie to me, I'm more drawn to that than like cheerleaders. But
yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's just
I started making a list. Like one of my other favorite like movies from that era of like it was released by Something Weird Video, but it was Teenage Gang Debs, and it's like 60s girl gangs in New York, and they're kind of like. I think a lot of them were like members. Like there's like very, very loosely a plot. And so it's kind of just a lot of like non-actors hanging out in a room, and there's some kind of basically the same sort of thing where like a new girl comes into a gang and she's going to be the new leader and sleeps with the boyfriend. But this one has like, they're like the Ronettes, you know, like they have like white lipstick and big hair and stuff like that. But I was obsessed with that movie, and just like the name Teenage Gang Debs was just like, the best.
I feel like I feel like for the time frame of this movie, from what I know about like especially like LA in particular, I think like the background girls looked a little bit more authentic. You know, even Donut and Bunny, I feel like there was a girl that was always kind of in a scene with Bunny, and she would wear like a vest, like a denim vest, and like she kind of had like feathered hair. But yeah,
I love the redheaded one. She looked like she looked lived in.
Is she the one with the nose ring? There's one with the nose ring.
I didn't notice that. She was always kind of like behind Bunny,
and she had like her hair like she like a round comb and like a blow dryer, like the big rolls, you know. But yeah, I feel like. Maggie, Patch, and Lace were a little too like glamorous, like a little too dolled up, a little too beautiful.
I mean, this is a movie, darling,
and it's a movie.
It's a movie, darling,
and there are leads. Yes, but like to me, I'm like, give me Bunny, give me Donut. Like Donut really look like
Donut's look is so. She looks like one of my aunts when they were in high school. She has such a 70s look about her.
Yeah.
She sold that game with a cigarette. That they had to play where you had to bet on who dropped the cigarette first, and then she gets slapped. I mean, she took a slap.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that guy was like, "You cost me $30." I was like, "Donut, can I get a break?" She's not getting a burger. If she wants a snack, she's getting like called out for it.
It was 3-1 odds against Donut, but it's like I don't know. Did you light the cigarettes at the exact same time? There are a lot of factors here. Why?
Also, like. I wouldn't bet 3-1 on Donut for anything. No. She's not built for it.
You know she's gonna fuck it up. So
yeah, poor Donut.
Poor.
I would if I was in a girl gang, I would be Donut.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
And I would just take my chance on the streets. Like I'm just.
I don't know if I was in a girl gang, who would what character type would I be?
I think I just feel like I would need the protection of the gang, other than taking my chance on the streets. But like, I don't know.
But if they're not giving you food, what are they giving you? That's
true. Yeah. What is starving worth the
I don't know. I think that if I'm taking the BuzzFeed "What Switchblade Sister Are You" quiz, I think that I'm probably getting Bunny.
You're not getting blonde afro.
I don't think I'm getting blonde afro.
Doesn't have any lines.
I would want to be Patch, but I don't think that I am that. I don't think that I am
not
Patch.
That angry.
I'm not that angry. I like to think that I'm Patch, but
you
I'm
don't
not.
have that deep in your soul.
I think I'm probably Bunny.
I don't have the energy to spend. Like, I don't get caught up in like the power games or whatever. Like, I'm never about that. Like, I don't like that about reality shows.
Yeah.
The like alliances, I'm like, this sounds like a lot of work and a lot of like relationship building, and
true.
I'm just gonna probably try to be making it with guys and eating burgers.
Yeah, you take all the benefits.
Same as I do.
All the benefits of being in a gang, like hanging out with the dudes, like getting some, and hey, maybe I'll hang out in the ladies' room and like take a cut of that $5. $5 a pop.
I'm gonna skim off the top. If I'm turning tricks in the bathroom, I'm charging them
$7, and I'm giving $5 to to that 70 show.
Do we know if there's any relation to Jack Hill and Walter Hill?
Ooh, good.
Is there any relations to those two?
I've never seen them.
Wait, who's Walter?
He directed The Warriors.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
I've never seen them in the same room together. So maybe.
So are there any other girl gang movies that you like, or at the top of your list?
Oh God, Scott, you have your exploitation
girl gang movies.
Yeah. You mentioned Faster Pussycat, which is like what I think I'd seen that first, and like that movie just
I want to eventually make it to Faster Pussycat Kill Kill on the podcast. I mean, is The Craft a girl gang movie?
The Craft.
Yeah, sort of.
It's kind of a girl gang movie. Foxfire with Angelina Jolie.
Oh my god. Yeah. I feel like you guys got to get a good drag queen to do Faster Pussycat.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I have a few people in mind. Mm-hmm.
Get some good.
Born in Flames is like a great one, like a lesbian cult underground movie. Have you ever seen the High School Hellcats? The like kind
I
of
was
50s
just Googling
one?
this right now when I was looking at it. It's Yvonne Lime. I'll have to track this one down.
It's pretty okay. I mean, like it's very early AIP, so it's like it's not really that bad, but it's kind of like
58.
It feels like a like MST3K adjacent thing where they're like there's like some like initiation stuff, but nothing too bad happens. But it's a great title.
Oh yeah, High School Hellcats.
And I think like the Cramps do, or in Crybaby they do a song called High School Hellcats. I forgot. Like the Cramps recorded it, but then they didn't use it.
Okay, love Crybaby.
Girls Town is another good one with Mamie Van Doren, where she's like out of reform school and like she has to break new girls in.
Did we talk a little bit about teenage gang Debs earlier? Okay,
yeah.
Did you mention that one? It looks like that's on Tubi.
Yeah, that's the one. It's like something weird video. Oh, it's on Tubi.
Yeah, it looks like it's on Tubi.
Okay. Yeah, it's a
Most
good one
of these
to watch,
movies
like,
are on Tubi.
Really? Okay.
Thank you, Tubi.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just have to deal with those ad breaks in the middle of the sentence.
Yeah, they're not very artfully. They're not very artfully included in there. What's it called? Teenage Gang Debs.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
It's like mid-60s. Yeah, and like I loved those something weird DVDs. Like they always came with like extra bonus material of like there'd be like a double feature and like 20 trailers of like other movies in the same genre.
Yeah.
And so I'd just be like, okay, I'd be like making a list at home and like I have a notebook full of stuff to go rent.
Yeah, we got this pack from Severin. Yeah, what did we saw? It was when we went to go see.
We went to go see that Peaches Christ movie
with Natasha Lyonne.
With Natasha Lyonne, yeah.
And we got the Severin catalog, so I need to look through that.
Oh,
and
nice.
See what's going on.
You know what we've been doing? We just got a membership at the Alamo Draft House, and during all of their pre-programming, they have all of the old vintage trailers, and they're customized to what movie that you're going to.
Yeah.
And when we went to Bottoms a few weeks ago, or last week, it was all cheerleader movies from the 70s. So I put them all in my on my Letterboxd watch list.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna have to go crib that from you. Yeah. That's fun. I loved Bottoms, by the way. It was so funny.
Good.
Yeah, it was a good time. We loved
I was
it.
cracking up.
Yeah, we loved it. I wasn't prepared for the kind of like absurdity that was going to be in there and the surrealism, but I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah. I love they just kind of mashed up everything. They had some like 80s like heads and stuff, and like
absolutely.
Well, Ben, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, this was so much. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. This movie's out of control.
I knew that when we went to this at the New Bev that we had to do it on the show. I know that it's kind of a weird, deep poll that probably not a lot of listeners have seen, but it's kind of a fun opportunity to talk about exploitation movies in Jack Hill too.
Yeah, I was really excited that you said Pete wanted to do this one. So,
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, thanks for coming on, and we'll do something fun again in the future.
All right.
Until then, we'll let you go.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, thank you so much, man.
All right, thank you guys.
Right.
Talk to you soon.
Bye. And thanks so much for listening, everybody. That was another great episode. Switchblade Sisters, we love it. And a great big thank you to Ben Cheaves, our wonderful guest. Love it when Ben comes on the show. Always a good time. I know Switchblade Sisters might be hard to find, but do yourself a favor and look it up. Might be on YouTube. I think we talked about it a little bit where you can find it, but it's tough, but it's out there, and it is a really, really fun watch, as hopefully we just got that across to you. But I think right now it is time for some Patreon shout-outs. I want to say hi, hello, and thank you to all of our wonderful patrons who contribute every month, including Tammy and Roberto, Brett, Tren, Daisy, Kelly, Chrissy, Stephen, Jake, Desiree, Laura, Thomas, Brenna, Jessa Rabbit, Lawrence, Lisa, Alexis, Thomas, Mark, Millie, Ted, Benny, Jermel, Melanie, Susan, JJ, Shelby, Jamie, Drew, Genevieve, Dawn, Joshua, Emily, Aaron, Jessica, Nick and Shannon, Christine, and Rufino.
Thank you for being a friend.
You guys, thank you so much for being patrons. Head over to patreon.com/movies that made us gay to see all of the additional bonus content that we have to offer. There are different tiers, so whatever you feel like you can donate to us, thank you so much for donating, your hard-earned, dollars, dinero, the cointadas. It goes directly to keeping the show up and running, ad-free, every Friday. All right, so thank you so much. If you want to make a one-time donation, then you'll have 30 days to check out everything on there and listen to all of it at your leisure, or else you can do a recurring one, and that all helps so much. We are just starting a new series on our Patreon where we talk about movies. We just, our introductory episode was about the adventures of Pete and Pete from Nickelodeon. If you're Gen X like me, or pretty much a millennial like Scott, then you definitely remember the adventures of Pete and Pete, and what an iconic show. We are talking the coolest guest stars and cameos from this episode that we covered. Had Michael Stipe and Kate Pearson, but it had tons of guests like Jeanine Garofalo and too many to count. But Pete and Pete is a wonderful show. It was really formative for the both of us, and it really it's kicking off our series on Patreon where we talk about television shows. Each week or each month we're going to have a couple of them, and we're going to talk about different shows that we really grew up on and episodes that really meant a lot to us. So head over to patreon.com/movies that made us gay for that, as well as we have an entire season of RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars that we recapped, and we have over 30 Watch With Us commentary tracks. So there's going to be information on how to check those out, and all the different tiers and your options over on Patreon. So thank you very much for checking that out and for participating. We really appreciate it, and it really helps us keep the show going for you every week. We'd also love it if you would like and subscribe to the show. If you're on Apple Podcasts, even if you don't listen on Apple Podcasts, if you listen on Spotify or anything else, if you have an iPhone, Apple Podcasts is preloaded. Open the app, look for our show, and give us 5 stars. It takes no time at all, and it really helps us out in the long run. It helps our show get kind of spread out far and wide and gain more listeners. And if you'd be so kind, hey, write us a review. It'll take no time at all. I love the show.
and we'll read it on an upcoming episode. And again, it really helps us in the long run for the show to get recognized and for the word to get spread out. So head over to Apple Podcasts to do that. If you're on Spotify, you can give us 5 stars. No reviews, but you can give us a 5-star rating. So that would help us out a lot. And if you're on the socials, we're on the socials. We're at Movies That Made Us Gay on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're MTMUG Pod on X. We're on Threads, Movies That Made Us Gay. We're at MTMUG Pod on Blue Sky. Well, yeah, we have a Blue Sky. So head over to that if you're on that app and check us out. We're mostly active on Instagram, and we've gotten kind of a little boost in our Instagram posts lately. They've been taken off. So thank you very much. If you've been liking and sharing and commenting and all that stuff, every little bit helps and it, gets that word out. So thank you so much once again. So yeah, check us out on socials. And if you want to follow our personal socials, feel free. My name's Pete. I am at Peter Lasagna on Instagram. I don't really do much on Twitter anymore, so my Instagram is where it's at. And Scott, if you want to follow Scott, you can check out his he's got Scott Youngballer on Instagram, and you can check out his letterbox. It tells you what movies we're watching every week. If Scott watched it, I pretty much watched it too. So yeah, check out his letterbox to look for Scott Youngbauer. So thank you so much for listening, everybody. We will see you next week. Bye.